Greetings, brothers and sisters. We are live over here at the Yashabin Israel Israelite Thought Channel. And we got one person in already, waiting, ready to go. Yeah, one viewer popped up already. I got brother Tory Bolton in the house with me. Let him know something about you, Tory.
Man, my name is Tori, man. Yeah, I'm from the DMV area. I'm from I'm from Maryland. I'm from Prince George's County, Maryland. And I've been I came into the knowledge of being an Israelite in like the last 6 months. And living as an Israelite is pretty cool. That's what I have to say about that.
Hey, I tell you one thing.
Yeah.
You're getting a lot of something that I didn't have coming into the game. You're getting a lot of excitement. You understand? Because there was no excitement when I came into the game because Israelites was few and far between. Most of us was heathens. We accepted being heathens. They gave us Negro and heathen, and we accepted it. But today is a different day. But that being stated, today we're going to do the recap. We're going to do a recap on the young Pharaoh versus Jabari. Uh, was the metanetter deciphered? Has it ever been deciphered? And it really wasn't a debate. It was actually a discussion. But you know how things go. If you watch the Sonetta show, you know how things go over there. Things get pretty heated, and when you come in for a discussion, you really should come in as if though you're ready to debate, PowerPoints and all, because that's just how it is over there. There is no real discussion. They don't respect discussion. You know what I'm saying? They want you to source up or shut up over there. And that is the motto. And that motto, came from the Lion's Den. The Lion's Den, Tory, has really, really, really raised the bar of intelligence over there on the side of the show. And it's making it pretty hard, for all of those other people, that help bring Sa up. Those guys was very, very, very pseudo. Today you got guys, that can really, really, really raise the bar of debate. But that being stated, I want to get off into this video, and we're going to break it down. We're going to respect the fair use laws, for we're using this content, with permission from our big elder Sinetta. Man, I'm so proud of him last night. He did a very excellent job last night. He did not get in the way, and he let the dogs fight. And I thought the Sinetta would have just been blowing his top last night, because he's Kemet, and that's too Kemet. Whether you like it or not, young Pharaoh is Kemet. Okay, so that was two comedians going at it, and Sinetta let the dogs fight. He can get pretty personal when it comes to Kemet. And he did not get. I was expecting him to grab and favor Jabari at some points and favor young Pharaoh at some points, because as we go off into the video, you got to understand that young Pharaoh was one of the originals of the HOK. Young Pharaoh was one of the guys who helped bring Sinetta to where Sinetta is today. Him, Polite, Imam Bashir, Shaka Amos. I would even go as far as saying Uncle West, Dr. Reggie. Those were the old Sarah Suit Seti, Natural Tahuti. Natural Tahuti.
But I know you know.
Yeah, hey, baby, I'm recording, baby. I'm recording. Chantel, I'm recording. Please, please. Yeah, thank you, baby.
I know you know my name, but
please.
I know you know my name.
Yeah, but Sinetta them, man, now you got Natural Tahuti them over there doing their thing, man. And young Pharaoh was a part of that. He was a part of the original. You know what I'm saying? You know, HOK. So he did not recognize Jabari. You know, he is to Jabari is to young Pharaoh what you would be to Jabari, Tori. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna I'm gonna mute the mic, so I'm gonna share my screen and I'm going to stop because I'm over here at my mom's house, and I'm going to say it for the record. I have people who just don't respect the movement and don't respect what's going on over here. They rather talk about bitch shit and dumb shit and stupid shit and disrespect what I'm doing on the camera. But we're going to keep going, because we're not going to let that stop us. But anyway, in this excitement for the movement, fuck it, let's go. There ain't no stopping us now. My only enemies is my people that's closest to me, like my own fucking family. But fuck that. Let's get out of that. Let's get off into me sharing this screen. I'm gonna mute my mic.
A discussion with two strong, powerful souls. Y'all been informed. Let me go ahead and bring them in here. We got young Pharaoh. Young Pharaoh is pushing the theme that the metal nature have not been deciphered. Now, this could turn into a potential debate. It depends on how this thing goes. And I know this is me with this information. And of course, we got the champ in the building. Is it building? Everybody that went up against him, he gave him, I think, Tazariak, you gave Tazariak I would say a third round knockout, Jabari. You gave Tazariak a third round knockout. But anyway, let me bring on the brother, young Pharoah. What's going on, brother? Let me unmute you. Go ahead.
Oh, I said, what's going on, man? Nothing, just another day. I just came from printing out some more organizing some more paperwork as far as things that I need, if and when I go to the United Nations, etc., to speak on behalf of the community. And with that being said, I'm speaking to look who we got here. We got you. We got the Podestas here. You feel me? We got your man here. I got a lot of people out there.
I see.
I want to pause right there for a second. Now, what we're going to notice here, we're going to see how we're going to see how young Pharaoh, right? Young Pharaoh is an understudy to Polite. He worships Polite. He thinks Polite is the hottest thing since sliced bread. But let's get back off into it.
Long story short, with that being said, I ain't gonna lie, I really don't know who Jabari is, but Polite actually couldn't get around this debate. So no disrespect, I don't know who you are. I would just like to say this: if Polite, because I'm not gonna lie, out of everything Polite has done, I'm real enough to say if Polite can't beat me, you can't beat me.
Oh man, damn! He's starting off. Coming in already.
Yeah.
With balls, goddamn.
But what I will say is this: I don't really know, and I don't really feel I need to know you. What I will say is, if Polite couldn't beat me, you can't beat me. But I'm gonna say this about my premise without going all the way in. I had a debate lined up with a hybrid professor on this subject, and I sent him my premise. And after seeing my premise, he backed out of the debate. So not only did I stop politeness breaks on this topic, I made a Harvard University level scholar run away from me. So I say I just say this. All I'm gonna say is this: when it comes to what they call Egyptology, the Egyptian hieroglyphics, aka meta-metric system, has not been successfully translated to become a speakable language in that aspect. It's not.
Look at Sarnetta. Sarnetta is happy. He got his some comedic action going on, and Sarnetta, you did well.
And I have proven my premise with the difference between characters and ideograms or text or grammatical text, etc. So, I have a my premise is like Moses' staff. I have already parted the sea. So, if polite can't do it, if Harvard can't do it, you can't do it.
Hey, Jabari, where'd you graduate from? Harvard, right?
I want to be clear that saying that someone's a Harvard professor doesn't impress me because I'm a Cornell educated.
Cornell. Okay.
And I'd like to believe that Cornell is a stronger institution because it has an Africana studies. And
we're going to stop right there. I want to share my screen again, right? Jabari said that he liked to believe, right? He liked to believe bullshit. He liked to believe fake stuff. I have no problem with Sarnetta. I have a real big problem with Jabari's scholarship, though. I want to Google something real quick. Cornell University versus Harvard. Okay, I want to share my screen again. I'm going to stop that screen for 1 second. He said that Cornell is better than Harvard. Hey, Tori, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I want you to look at this. This is what the brother said. Jabari said that he liked to believe that Cornell is better than Harvard. Allow me to share my screen here. Can you see it? Can you see what? Can you see? Did it come up, Tori?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Okay. Cornell. This is versus.com university comparison. Cornell versus Harvard. Matter of fact, before I go off into that, I want to read that pre-cap. It says, why Harvard University better than Cornell? Why is Harvard University better than Cornell? Then you got 38. What's that? 500. What's that? 538 lower tuition required. Let's get off into there because this written kind of crazy. Cornell versus Harvard. Let's see what we got here. In the comparison, you have Cornell University versus Harvard. Cornell gets 73 points. Harvard gets a whopping 100 points. Do you see this story?
Yeah.
The comparison here is Cornell versus Harvard. Who won? Who is the comparison winner here? You
Harvard.
see this? What the fuck is he talking about? He act like he was insulted when Sarnetta. This is the arrogance of Jabari, and this is why Jabari lost the whole discussion, man. And we're going to talk about that part, right? Because they're going to they're finna try to demonize young Pharoah. I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't like neither one of them guys, to be quite honest, right? But I'm just calling it how it is, right? And Jabari, being such educated person, he should know better. We're going to back out of that, right? Let's go into another site, because we don't use conjecture, right? We use straight up comparisons. Harvard versus Cornell, college tuition compare, www.collegetuitioncompare.com. Harvard versus Cornell. Compare two rival schools, Harvard University and Cornell, within tuition and admission information where Harvard is a 4-year private, not-for-profit located in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and Cornell is a 4-year private, not-for-profit located in Ithaca, New York. Oh my goodness, I gotta agree with the cookies. Comparison, both are 4-year private non-for-profit schools. Cornell University has more expensive tuition and fees at $63,200 than Harvard at $57,621. It is harder to admit to Harvard than Cornell. Harvard has a higher submitted SAT score as 1530 than Cornell at 1505, right? Harvard has a higher submitted ATC score at 35 than Cornell at 34. Harvard has more students with 31,345 students, while Cornell has 25,800 582 students. Harvard has a lower number of students per faculty with 7-1, while Cornell has a ratio of 9-1, which makes it a worse school, because with a ratio to 7-1, that means that the student could have a greater interaction with the professors, while Jabari with a 9-1 interaction rate between the professors and at the student faculty the student faculty rate. I am trying to tell you that Harvard is a far better school by these statistics. Harvard has more full-time faculties with these are your teachers, right? With 2,120 faculties, while Cornell has 1,857 full-time faculties. So, which one is the better school here? You know, I can go all day down this list, and I think I'm just going to just waste a little bit more time here because it's important to show you the BS that Jabari bees on. You know, we can go right here to Quora, which is a blog, and you will look down here, and I guarantee you, nowhere nobody has ever said that Cornell was a better school than Harvard. It's more expensive, and it's a waste of money. And he more expensive for prestige, but he didn't get in Harvard because he couldn't make it. That's the reality. Well, we're not going to get off into Quora because Quora's a blog, and we're not going to read all of that. But we're just here, holding down the time. We got time. We're not going anywhere, people. Harvard University, all of these sites, and we're just going to pop in there just real quick, and you'll see. Well, we just got out of college simply. Let's go to Universe Stats. Universe Stats, they dealing with sports. Let's go to the college equivalator. Both are private. Cornell tuition is a little more expensive. Harvard acceptable rate is lower, which means that you got to be smarter to get in Harvard, right? Cornell has a higher yield enrollment rate than Harvard because they accepted more for the money. You got to be very smart to get in Harvard. You see, because Harvard has a lower acceptance rate because they're not accepting no dummies. Harvard SAT scores is higher than Cornell, which means they're smarter. You got to be smarter to get in. Harvard students to faculty ratio is lower than Cornell. Harvard is the better school. Okay, the winner is Harvard. Let's get out of there and get back to this video. So Tori, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
What do you think about that? What do you think about as a young brother, fresh out of high school, looking into colleges and universities, and and his bright future ahead of him? What do you think about that statement that Jabari made? What do you think about when Sinetta tried to hype Jabari up? But man, don't you got a Harvard degree? And his condescending ways look down on a Harvard degree. What do you think about that, brother? By stating that in many ways that Cornell is better than Harvard University. What do you think about that statement?
I think that Jabari, he's trying to big himself up and he's overrating himself, and that Sinetta, he's overrating Jabari too, and pretty much all the other people over there on the HOK channel, they overrate Jabari and make it seem like he's like one of the greatest scholars. And I'm not insulting Jabari. I love Jabari. I got love for the brother because he's Jabari, he cool, but I think he's overrated.
Arrogant.
Yeah, I'm not saying that to insult Jabari.
I'm just telling the truth. I ain't insulting him either. He just arrogant as hell, bro. It's ridiculous. It's so arrogant. It's almost fake. It's about as fake as young Pharoah. You know what I'm saying? Both of their credentials is fake as hell. And we're going to get off into that too. We're going to just break this down. I'm only going to stop this a few times. Because the video is kind of long. So I'm going to go get back to the share my screen again, and we're going to get back into the video. I just had to get up out of there because, I have to do a breaking stop like that when guys tell these lies. Don't you think that's necessary, Tori?
Yeah.
You just gas yourself up unnecessarily. There's nobody in the world who you couldn't pay nobody to believe that Cornell is a better university on no level than Harvard. Okay?
Right.
It's just silly, man.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to mute my mic and we can go.
Researcher.
You think you hired them for life?
And so I want you to
hold up. Let him go, Pharoah.
Let me introduce myself because you don't seem to know who I am. I'm a student of Dr. Yosef Ben Yakinen. I'm a student of Dr.
He's laying out his credentials, and he's also pleading to authority. He's laying down a logical fallacy.
Familiar with Dr. James Turner. More than anyone, he was the person that assisted me with understanding how to make logical arguments, how to use sources, how to read scholarly work. That is Dr. James Turner. He just made his transition. He's an ancestor as of last year. So definitely those are folks that have that are important to me. In addition to that, you should know I have 2 master's degrees, one in divinity, one in human service administration. I'm currently completing a 3rd master's degree in the history of Africa and the African diaspora. I'm also simultaneously completing a doctorate that is a divinity degree. And you should also know I'm an author. I do annual study tours to Kemet. And I don't think anyone that you've debated, whether they're from Harvard or Cornell or anywhere, has spent as much time studying on the ground as I have. So, but I want to say to you that very quickly, even before I even open my mouth, dear brother, I hear you shifting the goalpost. And I think the audience might have heard it as well. You are known, and don't make me have to put up a flyer because I will. You are known for saying that MetaNetter has not been deciphered. And tonight you didn't say that. I'm sure that there are people that heard that. He said that MetaNetter has not been translated into a speakable language. That's not the same thing. So let me say that I would love for you to know that while you don't think Jabari Osaze will defeat you on this topic, you just defeated yourself on the topic. Young Pharoah of May 3rd, 2023 just defeated young Pharoah of last year, the same.
Hey, Terry.
Oh, I had the mic muted. Sorry, I'm over here talking. But you're going to get a lot of this type of condescending information and talk from Jabari throughout the whole talk. Throughout the whole discussion, you're going to get this type of condescending talk. I mean, continuously. He's not going to answer any questions. He's not going to rebuttal anything. He's just going to give a whole bunch of condescending talk like this, like he did to Harvard, and if he could talk down to Harvard, then he could talk down to young Pharoah. You're going to get a lot of condescending talk from this brother, and you're going to get a lot of questions.
I want you to recognize that I heard that you did that, and that's slick. But if the premise that you just stated today is your real premise, you and I won't even disagree. There's no need for us to debate. You and I will not disagree. But I want you to acknowledge that what you are saying tonight is not what you have said. So that's the difference. I think that you have a relationship with my elder, Baba Heru Ankara Samad Sepata. He has spoken highly of you to me.
Now, the guy, when Jabari pleads to authority, one of the authorities that he pleads to is Baba Heru. And Baba Heru speaks highly of young Pharoah. His authority speaks highly of young Pharoah. Mind you, the Jabari authority speaks highly of young Pharoah. And watch all of the condescending talk that he's going to continue to do.
I have not studied or listened to all of the things that you've done, but I've paid attention to some of it. I'll see it as it comes through, and I'm aware of it. Perhaps what I'm hearing tonight is the evolution of your argument. And if that is what I am hearing, then you and I could go ahead and agree. But, the thing that people are disagreeing with you on, if I can just show this really quickly, Sonetter, if you could put it up, is this. This flyer says the MetaNetter has not been deciphered. And so the first thing I would ask you is, do you recognize that you said you're making a different argument tonight than the one that you've made in the past? That's the first thing I would ask you. Or is this the argument you're making? The MetaNetter has not been deciphered. You can go ahead, brother.
I don't want to say this. I'm a little high right now. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little high. But I want to say this.
This is where the young phenom messed up, by getting on here telling people that he is high. I mean, if you are so high, you get high at home. You don't walk around the world telling people, oh, I'm high. You go to McDonald's and order, I'm high. Can I have a Big Mac? Somebody knock on your door. Who is it? I'm high. You don't do that, man. And if you like to get high, you should just get high and live your life. He came in here telling people that he got high and they're going to use this against him. But I want you to pay attention, because there's no reason to use that against him. And he threw that out there for a reason. You know, he knew that they was going to use that against him. And there was no reason to use against him, because him being high is just no excuse for nothing. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew his argument, and he didn't mess up on nothing. He did a very well job. You can't blame nothing on him being high. He did, and everybody did. The only person who didn't was Jabari at the end. Jabari is not going to play that game. But let's go off into this.
Before I answer your question, you gave your professions or your credential list. I just want to say this, you know, when people give their credentials, or, you know, you say this, that, and the third, you know, it means nothing. I just want to say, you know, I want to remind you that your credentials are nowhere and will never, ever be anywhere on the level of mine. So I felt like, you know, I'm the one that has done multiple interviews with the CIA. I'm the one
that's some good stuff you was smoking, brother.
I'm the one. Wait a minute. It's about right here. Wait a minute, because I let you talk. Let me talk. I got a shout out from the CIA right 12/2020.
From the CIA?
Yeah. Then I did a live stream with them.
Wait, the governmental institute, the CIA?
Wait. Then I did a live stream with an ex.
Well, he got his book, and he got the CIA. He got his book. You know, I'm quite sure he can back up what he's saying. He's going far enough to show you.
Agent, September 23rd, 2020. Then I did another live stream with him. Wait, I'm not done. Then I was number 1 on the App Store, April 30th, 2021. You know what I'm saying? I'm the one that caught Joe Biden and them cheating during the election. I did it with 22,810 people watching live, millions of views. Wait a minute. Then I caught Hillary Clinton and them during the George Floyd riots. I did 1 million views in 3 days again. I made $1 million, $1.4 million alone in 2020. I'm the one that got the United States government, helped them get found guilty of crimes against humanity in 2021. I'm the one that caught all of the human traffickers in the world. I'm the one that proved that damn Pizzagate was actually real and caught Hillary Clinton lying about the basement and the bottom of Common Ping Pong and help.
Now, can you see, both of these guys, like I told you, are highly fallacious. Both of their credentials don't mean nothing. None of their credentials has anything to do with this argument.
The white man that shot it up actually be found innocent. I'm the one that figured out. I was on CNN. I got canceled. I was supposed to meet Trump. I got canceled from CPAC. I was on USA Today. You know what I'm saying? I was on Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert. You know what I'm saying? I have and the list goes on. My music image, the list goes on. I'm undefeated in Muay Thai. So you know what I'm saying? I stopped COVID in 19. I'm the one that COVID. I'm the one that stopped the lockdown all around the world and let everybody and let it be known to the public that it was a bioterroristic weapon. So I felt like shit, your credentials is never longer than mine, and nobody you around credentials could never be longer than mine. I just want to say that. And the list goes on of things I could accomplish. And with that being said, me getting that out, I lost my train of thought of what I wanted to say to answer your question. Do me a favor, ask me your question again one more time so I can answer it.
Brother, you have to. Yeah.
I never tell them to ask me the question one more time.
I'm trying to ask you the question. I asked a simple question. I was asking whether the person that the argument that you made in 2016 that the MetaNetter has not been deciphered, is that the same argument you are making today? Because you said something very different just now.
Listen to me. I'm not saying anything different than what I've said, but what I need for people to understand, especially the general public, is Egypt is taught in two separate concepts. It's taught from a concept of Egyptology, which is the study of Egypt from 3200 BC and down, and that is the aspect of Egypt that is taught in synchronicity with religion to approve of the Bible. Or
notice how young Pharaoh is giving information. Now, whether it's false information or whether it's correct information is irrelevant to the fact. He is giving information, right? Jabari is never going to give information. Jabari is going to only ask questions and talk condescending talk. You know, he's never going to rebuttal anything. Notice what he's saying, that how Jabari is not going to rebuttal it. He's just going to talk down on it.
Any other monotheistic religious understanding of the history of Egypt, but that history of Egypt is not true. Then you have Kemetology, which is the study of Egypt of 10,000 BC. 10,000 years. 10,000 years, starting at 10,000 BC and beyond. And that history of Egypt is true. So when I say that the Meta Nature has not been deciphered, and I make that distinction, what I want to be universally understood is, even when we arguing, is the Meta Nature been deciphered? People got to understand that we first arguing it from a aspect of or viewpoint of the story or the history of Egyptology as well, and no, that has not been deciphered. No, because a lot of that is completely made up. It's completely false. It's completely made up.
Well, let me say two things to you. I am not here to contest your credentials that you've mentioned, but I will say to you that the credentials that you mentioned, they have nothing to do with the discussion we're having.
But Jabari's credentials ain't got nothing to do with the discussion we're having. You got a degree in fucking humanities. Humanities ain't got nothing to do with Kemet. You got master's degree in humanities. You don't have a master's degree in Africana studies because there is no master's degree in Africana studies. You might get a certificate at best. But anyway, he told me you got an Africana studies, man. That's the only thing that you got. And I'm here to tell you that your Africana studies do not deal with Kemet. It doesn't. Not from Cornell. It doesn't. Okay? It doesn't qualify him to bring anything that of his studies. His credentials has nothing to do with he don't, if he, okay, he got a master's degree, right? You ask Jabari, do he speak Meta Netter? He'll tell you no. But his wife speaking, Anika speaking better than him. So that tells you right then and there that Cornell didn't teach him shit about Kemet, which means that the degrees he got ain't got nothing to do and nothing to offer to this conversation. You see the condescending talk that he doing? Both of these niggas is pseudo as hell. And that neither one of their credentials have anything to do with this subject. Excuse me. I'm eating this good old pizza.
And I can show you a cat video that has 4 million views.
So they got
you see that condescending talk right there he just did? Did you see that, Toy?
Yeah.
He just said a cat got, I could show you a cat video that got 4 million views. That's the most condescending shit that you can say. Because when we're talking about influencing the masses, young Pharaoh got a far stronger influence of the masses and the youth than Jabari.
Right. And shit, he had an influence over me as a teenager. That's how I learned about the conscious community.
When have Jabari ever influenced you?
Never.
That's condescending talk.
And shit, I found out about Sonetta because of young Pharoah.
You see him sit up there and say, "Oh, a cat got 5 million videos." Well, let me see if it's that easy. Let me see you, Jabari, get a fucking million videos off a fucking cat.
Shit, I ain't find out about Sonetta because of Jabari.
You found out about him through who?
Young Pharoah.
When Jabari wasn't even around.
Right. Yeah.
Let's get back to this. But you see all these condescending jabs. That what he just told you some bunch of stuff, and you just didn't rebuttal nothing. You just talked down on it. Stop it, Jabari. That's weak as fuck, man.
Everything, because I just wanted to let you know, like, I just wanted to let you know, I'm a real life general. I'm a real life general. I'm the leader of the black. I'm about to take us.
Hold on. Okay, wait.
China and South Africa. I just wanted to let you know that.
Brother, you gotta wait.
For real, I'm a real life.
You gotta let him speak, Pharoah. You gotta let him speak.
Gotta wait. So I
make him look undisciplined and all this shit. You know, more condescending talk.
Want you to know that the credentials that you cited, the views that you've had, the things that you've done, I'm not here to contest those things, but I want everyone to know that those credentials don't have anything to do with the topic that we're discussing.
Yours don't either.
I'm the one, by the way, you're talking about Kemet of 10,000 BCE. I'd love for you to talk about that, but you should know that
you say that to say what?
I also am a college professor. I teach the history of Africa.
He's not no college professor. What? There's no college in America that is teaching that is hiring Jabari. That's a lie.
From human origins to 1600 CE. So I can take you back 3 or 4 million years.
You hear this pseudo talk? He said he could take us back 3 or 4 million years. Now, all I'm trying to get y'all to see is all of the he is doing the pot is calling the kettle black. As ridiculous as young Pharoah sounds, and he sounds ridiculous, Jabari sounds equally as fucking ridiculous.
If not more ridiculous.
He lied.
He sounds equally as ridiculous, if not more ridiculous.
Yes.
So I really would like for you to hear that. I'm not here necessarily, though, to debate you.
You're here to talk down on him and make him look bad and embarrass him. And try to get him out of the black community and to make his life hard because you're jealous that he made millions of dollars on YouTube and you not getting them. So you want to try to make it like you better than him because you feel like you deserve those millions of dollars.
I think that if you are an intellectual brother, someone who has the capacity, you said you're really high. I hope you have the capacity to listen and to reason, you're going to recognize that what I'm saying is correct. And I want you to realize that.
Okay, how is he going to recognize what you're saying is correct when you're not correcting him? All you're doing is badgering and talking down to the brother. Is that what you're getting out of this, or am I fucking crazy, Tori?
No, that's exactly what I'm getting out of it.
What information has he given so far? All that fucking verbiage.
I hasn't really given any information.
Okay, but this man should feel. So far, you haven't given a fucking shred of information, but he should feel that you can correct him. Nope. Fuck out of here. Y'all talk stupid, man. Let's go, man.
First said when you sat down is different than what you've been saying. It's different than what you've been saying. Saying that.
Now watch how young Pharoah clear this up. What he's trying to do is he's trying to move the goalpost, right? And young Pharoah gonna bring it right back. He's going to say, well, young Pharoah, what you're trying to do is you're moving the goalpost. Well, young Pharoah going to say, well, fuck it. I'll argue both arguments and make both arguments stand on the same point. Watch this.
That the language has not been translated into a speakable form and saying it has not been deciphered, those are not the same thing. So that's really where we are. And I also want to say,
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Hold on.
Definition of
See that? He's saying it is the same thing. He's telling him what. How you gonna tell me about my stand, bro? You saying it's not the same thing, and I'm telling you that it is. Okay, well, what they supposed to do is, okay, well, I'll let you sit back and say how it's not, and I'll let you filibuster take 20 fucking minutes, because you're gonna do that to try to make me forget my point. And then I'm gonna come back and show you how it is the same thing. And watch young Pharaoh do that.
You're not
to convert a text.
Hold on, Pharoah. He's gonna pass the mic in a minute. He's gonna pass the mic. Let him go.
Convert a text within a written code or a code.
Young Pharoah, you gotta let him finish, and he's gonna you next. You got the
I'm
mic.
here once again to contest all the things you said, but I think some of them are interesting. Right off the bat, I heard you say that you got the Pizzagate gunman off free, and I know that Edgar Madison Welsh was sentenced to 4 years in prison. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't say that.
Dude is in prison right now. So.
I didn't say that. I said I'm the one that got the evidence that could prove that he's innocent.
Oh, that can prove that he's innocent.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's not what I heard, and I listened very carefully. I just want you to know that this is a situation where perhaps what we should do is just make some clarifications between what.
Look at the look on young Pharaoh's face. He like, oh man, they done lured me into this bull dummy ass shit, bro.
Being deciphered.
We got a commercial because monetized, so when you get monetized, they throw commercials everywhere.
And what being verbalized is. So I'm gonna pass off. I'm gonna let you talk, and then I might come back and do that so you can see why I'm saying what you said before is different than what you're saying now.
All right, Pharoah, you got the floor.
I mean the definition is text written into code. I'm assuming convert a text written in code or code this signal into normal language. It has not been successfully converted into a normal language. What do you mean? It's made up. It's fabricated. It's made up. A lot of it is made up. You can't turn an idea or a concept or a vibration into a form of grammatical text. Definition, the word hieroglyph by definition means unknown language.
That is not what that word means.
It's a hieroglyph.
And Jabari is right. That's not what it means. It doesn't mean an unknown language. It means a holy language. But a holy language is a set apart language. And by the fact that it's set apart in itself, it is unknown to the masses. So he is correct.
It means unknown. And that's one of the definitions of it. And for two, it's an ideogram. What is an ideogram? Idea convey void of vernacular expression or grammatical.
So what he's saying here is that when you look at the hieroglyphics, they are ideogram. It's like when you see the word car, you can sound it out. Car. That's car. You can't do that with the hieroglyphics. The hieroglyphic is an idea. You know, it's almost like if you've seen the picture of a drawing of a car. You see, you get the idea that's car, but it doesn't say car. Meaning that if you was in Arabic, you could just draw that picture and you get the idea. They won't get the idea car. They get the idea aratun. You see what I'm saying? Car wouldn't come to their mind because the word is not there. It's the idea. They know that that's something you get in and that you go, right? If you went to Israel, ancient Israel, and you showed the image of a car, an ideogram, right? They would see that as the makarba. You see what I'm saying? They wouldn't see it as car. The only part about car is makaraba, right? Makaraba. So the word car doesn't come as CAR in English in the hieroglyphics. The hieroglyphics, what young Pharoah said, it is idea, an ideogram, an ideograph. It doesn't have a word, a consonantal, alphabetical equation. You understand? So listen to this young brother carefully.
Text. That's what it is. It's like an emoji. This is why the Egyptian deities are principalities. This is why they're principles. You can't take like for example the Kephites the dung more, but then it's also symbolic to the writing of consciousness each day and each morning. This is why from 3 to 4 a.m. there's an actual energetic flux that passes over the pyramid scale to this day and goes across the entire planet and vibrates the latitude, longitude lines of the planet. So I have to say this. The 3 layers of consciousness or the 3 layers of understanding metaphysically that our ancestors wanted to be understood was placed into that ideogram. But if you weren't there or if the information wasn't transmitted to you, you know, you wouldn't have that understanding. You wouldn't be able to read it. But you can't take that and turn that into a letter K, because the letter K does not, if that's the case, the letter K still a spirit.
Point in case. And that is the wind of the argument within itself. Do you hear what that young brother just said? Huh?
Yeah, I'm about to go use the bathroom real quick. I'll be back.
Yeah. That's the case in point of the argument within itself. You know, that you can't add the letter K or B or Z. This system doesn't work with the ancients because the ancients was not aware of your K, B, and C to be able to translate it back into that. So where's you getting these translations from?
Meaning, none of the letters of the English alphabet have those meanings. On top of the fact, it's only 26 characters in the English alphabet, and then that came from Demotic and runic texts, and none of those texts have more than 30 characters in them. And the glyphs the Egyptian hieroglyphics have 4,000 to 6,000 characters, at least that they tell us or that we know of. So how did you translate all of these characters into only 26 characters that are void of any of the meanings of what those glyphs really mean?
Okay, let me ask you a question. Okay, give me a sec. Let me show something. Brother Pharoah, what is this?
The dung beetle.
That's a Capra beetle holding up the sun, a womb, you know.
Can I ask you a question?
Go right there.
How do you know it's called the Kepra beetle?
This is the point I'm trying to make.
No, wait. You use the word. So how?
Stop. That's the point that he's trying to make. Now, if he's trying to tell you that's the point he's trying to make, you know, how are you going to turn back around and jump ship on concede like that? You just conceded. That's the point that he's been trying to make.
Know that it's a Kepra beetle.
Because based upon the English language, and from the text outside of scholars like Stephen Mailer, and based upon this being a language of enslavement of our ancestors and us having to filter through French and Africa being colonized 76% by the French, and us not having our true original tongue and being able to really get our language back from who we should have got it from, which is Japanese historians or linguists. This is the vibratory expression that I give to.
I wonder why did he say that, but
world, the Kepra beetle. I'm not white. I'm not an Englishman. I didn't
I'm not,
create.
I'm not, I know you're not white. I mean, you're a person of African descent, like I'm a person of African descent. But I don't think you're answering the question. The question is, how did you come up with that term?
He told you he got it from the English language. That should be a given. And you wasn't satisfied with that answer.
This is a Kepler beetle. So how do you know this is a Kepler beetle? That term that you used.
Well, if it's not a Capra beetle, what would you say is the proper term for the?
No, here's the deal, though, young Pharoah. I would agree it's a Kepler
Right, right. Good question.
beetle. But the reason why I know it's a Kepler is because I can read the word. So someone told you what the word is
but someone told him that that's what that word meant. And the person who told him that was not the originators of that word. And the originators of the word did not transpose this to the person who's giving it to him. This is what he's trying to convey.
The Medunetter, and you agree that that's the word, yet you're still saying that we can't translate it.
I mean, the word Kepler is not on the screen. I don't know. You just said, how do I know it's the Kepler beetle? I mean, from my perspective, the way I answered it was, because I speak English, as you know.
But Kepler is Kepler an English word?
That's arguable.
That's arguable? Can you show?
And it is arguable because even any of the words that by the time they make it down here to us in English, it is no longer in its original state. Like say for instance, Judah. By the way Judah made it to us, it was Judah. But in the original state, it was Yahudah. Yahudah and Judah are two different words. Right, because the word has made it into English as Judah, and we talking about the copra beetle has made it into English as copra. He don't know where it came from prior to English. This is what he's trying to tell you. You're just trying to assert that it came from Kemet, but it was not passed down to nobody.
Kepler in it?
Any
English dictionary?
That's the point. One. Listen to me. That's the point I'm trying to make. These people are making this shit up as we go.
So did you make up the word Kepler?
No, I didn't. A Caucasian made it up.
Oh, a Caucasian made that word up?
They made up the English alphabet.
No, but I didn't even spell English. I asked you.
You see that nice non sequitur that he just threw in there. When he said that, he wasn't trying to say that as though he was trying to spell it. He was saying that he got it from the English language. That's all he was trying to say. And when he threw that out there, he threw out the alphabets because the alphabets is the core of the English language. He's focusing on language. Jabari talking about spelling. Do you see this ignorant, condescending, dumb shit? This is crazy.
Listen to me. You said it's Capra English word. I said that's arguable because the characters come from Englishmen, and those characters come from.
What character? We're not reading any words. There's no
letter A, the letter H, the letter E.
Brother Pharoah, I didn't ask you to write the word down. I asked you the item.
Is it an English word? I said it's arguable.
You see that? He keep trying to. I didn't tell you to write the word down. That has nothing to do with it, Jabari. He know that. I know that. The world know that. So why is you trying to interject that? That's called a red herring distraction. Just straight logical fallacy. Boy is trash.
Well, make the argument that it's an English word. Since it's arguable, make the argument that it's an
argument, and you haven't.
The argument is it could be argued that it's an English word because the characters, aka the letters that are used to the word, are of English origin.
Which letter? Which letter?
A, H, E. All of those letters go back to Greek the Greek alphabet, and then that history in itself. English comes from Anglish, which comes from the Anglo-Saxons, who were both once the Anglos, and then separate the Saxons, and then they became the Anglo-Saxons. So, like I said, the characters trace back to the English language, which has nothing to do with us, and then the English language came from when the Nordic, their homeland, and they had to even take that.
The truth of the matter is this. The truth of the matter is this. He got that stuff from Kemet. You know what I'm saying? That's the truth of the matter. He said that Jabari tried to assert that we got this word Kefra from Kemet, when truthfully we did not get or adopt the word from Kemet. We adopt the word from Champollion, right? We did not from French speaking people. We did not get this word from Kemet or Kemet speaking people. We got this word Kafra from a European French speaking individual.
Region over the English.
You're not
They had to even take that region over to create the English from the Anglo-Saxons to create the English word. So my main thing is, like I said, it could be argued that it's English. It could even be argued that it's runic, because the English alphabet comes from the runic alphabet.
Brother Pharoah, you are not answering the question.
You said.
Well, we can't be argued that it's runic, but I see what he's trying to say. He's trying to say if you're just going off of symbols, then you have to trace it through the line of the symbology. You know what I'm saying? That's what he is saying. You got to get a line of descent. You just don't pick up the Bible and read it. Someone has to pass this down to you, this understanding. All real discipline, you have to be taught. You just don't pick it up, and go. And they're saying, and he's saying, that outside, if you going through symbology, then you're going to have to trace this back to the runes. We're not going through a line for line of descent in symbology. We're just not doing that. Somewhere, somebody interjected, this word is here. And we're trying to figure out where did this word come from, because no Kemetian nor no Kemetic record told them that was this word was. That's what we're saying.
Simply because you are trying to ascribe English letters to sounds does not mean that word is an English word. I think you know that.
I'm saying is the English language is a hybridized language.
But I'm not asking about English. I didn't ask you about English. You're the one that's bringing English into this.
Because the word Kefra is created from the English language.
On here, when I said, what is this? And you said it's a Kepper, you are vocalizing sounds that are not written. They're written in English to try sound from language. I think you know this.
But you have to prove that it came from Kemet. And you don't have an alphabetic system to do that.
English dictionary that has the word Kepper in it. Is Kepper simply because you can try to write it in English letters, that makes it an English word? That means that the word
it became anglicized.
Yes, is an English word because I can write it
like Judah, Yahudah,
with the same letters. Is that
it became anglicized? Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
How about the word Espanol? Espanol can be written with English letters.
But
are you saying
that in English,
the word Espanol is an English word, or would you call it Spanish?
When it's translated from a living language, you're translating shit from a non-living language.
I am not asking
no living
Spanish language comes from.
Speakers.
I'm not asking you where the Spanish language comes from. What I am saying to you, dear brother, is that you have found yourself boxed into a box of your own making.
No,
Kepper, then the only way we know that it is vocalized as Kepper is by deciphering the language. And you are agreeing with the decipherment of the language. But
if your business kept in fisheries could see if it may qualify for a payroll tax refund. All it takes is.
But then you're saying,
what I'm saying is no matter what you say, you have to take into consideration that even the spelling of what you're saying is coming from a language that's a high.
Are no languages? Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm trying to say is that
Jabari is good for putting words in people's mouth, telling people what they're saying, telling people what they're doing, and all of this crazy shit. And that's just stupid. It's just dumb. You know, Jabari have not added nothing to the conversation.
The words that we're using to describe the principles and concepts of our ancestors are being understood or perceived by us and through us from a language that is not our natural language or our natural tongue. Even the word Kepper. And what I'm saying is the beetle was simply symbolized to convey 3 layers of understanding at a specific time. Somebody came and looked at these ideograms on the wall.
Could you show the
screen?
screen?
And are now alleging that from.
So I've never been in Kemet long enough to know that young Pharaoh telling the truth. And Jabari know that he's telling the truth. And Jabari is not agreeing. Jabari is looking for another road to condescend. No information has he dropped so far. Are you still there with me yet? You back yet, Tori?
Yeah, I'm still here.
What information have Jabari? We like 30 minutes into the damn video. What information have Jabari given?
Whatever it is, brother. I haven't seen. I mean, Jabari, he hasn't given any information yet.
What has
so
he?
Far.
The debate is only going to be we only got about another 30 minutes to go, man, and it's going to go by real fast. Over half the damn discussion, Jabari just only condescended. He did not rebuttal nothing that the brother said. Right?
Yeah.
He did not. He only corrected the brother one time. You know what I'm saying? He really didn't even need to correct him on that because he was correcting him on something that was beside the fucking point. Everything he's doing is just trying to destroy this young black man. This that black on black bullshit, bro. You know what I'm saying? That these Masons and these clandestine Negroes do. That the Jabari wants to be a gatekeeper so bad. You hear what I'm saying? But don't nobody respect that Negro.
I was gonna wait till we finish speaking. I got you.
Now allegedly,
Yo, Terry.
You were able to turn them
You got? Hey, real quick, pause it.
All right.
Yeah, you gonna play the whole live stream, or you just gonna play the next 30 minutes of it?
Yeah, just the next 30 minutes.
All right, cool.
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
And give off the meaning of them. And my thing is, if we was to go to a gang neighborhood, unless you was in that specific gang, or we go to a tribe, unless you was in that specific tribe, you wouldn't know what they language meant on the wall or what they symbols meant on the wall unless they told you. And
the proof of that is that when we were in slavery, right? We had pig. We created a language like Pig Latin, right? Like where we created, like we took the English language and we twisted it up, you know, like in a way, like instead, like to say I want to eat, you know, aye ontwe ute itbe, you know, aye ontwe ute ibe, you know, I want to eat, you know, and we would talk like that to confuse the slave masters, you know, and as long as nobody taught him what we were doing, he would have never known. Somebody has to teach you this, and then you go and spread the information. If I will, as long as we spoke Pig Latin and nobody told these people what we were doing, they would have never figured out what we were doing. You see, and this is what young Pharoah is trying to say. Nobody gave a Champollion the language. Nobody educated him in the language. It was never passed down to him. So how the hell is he going to be sure that this is the language? Nobody who spoke the language ever confirmed that it was the language. Just like a gang sign. If I came up with a gang right now and created my own gang signs, only people gonna know what these gang signs mean is the people who I tell what it means, the people that's inside my gang. And if we don't let the outsiders know, the outsiders will never know what these symbols mean. And this is the reason why many Americans see gang signs and all we do is recognize they gang signs. We couldn't tell you what these gang signs mean because you're not in the gang and nobody has taught you from a gang what these signs mean. Let's go.
When John Champollion or other, false, linguists say that they translated 4,000 to 6,000 glyphs, images, and pictures on the wall into 26 letters. Once again, I'm going to tell you no. That sounds crazy. But even if you believe that to be true, what I'm saying is we still have to take into consideration we really truly don't know. We really truly don't know if the names or titles of certain concepts, that whether we believe we understand them to be true, to be accurate, because this is not our native tongue.
What Jabari is supposed to do is say, we do know, and this is how we know. Let me show you how we know. And then he's supposed to drop the knowledge. Jabari ain't finna do that because he ain't got shit.
None of that is being done in our native tongue. That is what I'm saying to you. This is what I'm saying to you.
Okay. Sonetta, can you put this on the screen for me, please? Okay. Here's dictionary.com. I just figured I would look up the word Kepra because young Pharoah was saying it's arguable if it's an English word. Dictionary.com doesn't recognize it. I also looked at Merriam-Webster, which is a much older dictionary, updated several times a year. They don't recognize the word Kepra either. So I want you to understand that
the question is, if it's not an English word and you don't speak no other language but English, how the fuck did you get it? You got it from the English language, man. Amalgamated amongst a bunch of other English words, brother. Now, what that doesn't mean it's not an English word, brother, because in the English language we have an English medical a dictionary, right? And it's English. It's an English medical. We got English law dictionaries, right? You see, and when you're looking up Kepra, you need to look inside of Egyptian English, Egyptology. And in everything you're going to get, everything is going to be in English, including this word Kepra. Stop the fuckery, Jabari.
The word Kepra, while we might try to approximate it with letters that we might use in English, the reality is that this word is
what is not a word that you equate this. You equate this to this damn bug that you saw. There is no letters in Kemet to equate to this word Kepra. So how do you know that bug is Kepra? That's what the brother's supposed to be asking him.
An English word. By the way, I did not introduce the name of that beetle. Young Pharoah did. No, he's supposed to say Jean Champollion did, and we don't have no evidence prior to him. That's what he's supposed to be saying. And so I want you to recognize that we know that beetle is called a Kepra because we're able to read the language. We may not be able to read
English because it's in English letters.
I'm not finished, brother. I'm not finished.
My question would be, if you're able to read the language, then you should be able to speak the language, right? And if you're able to, like all I would do is say that show me the symbology that if somebody say something like I'm hungry, just a simple statement, show me the symbology of that. Show me that in Kemet. If you can't show me something simple as that in Kemet, you Negroes cannot decipher this fucking language, bro.
So this is really important for us to recognize that simply because you can try to approximate something in a language, that doesn't make that word like the word. And the simple way is to say Espanol. Espanol is not an English word. We call the language that is called Espanol by speakers of Espanol, we call it Spanish. But we do try to write the word Espanol using the same letters. It's not, I don't even know why I have to explain that.
No, we don't. We don't never use the word Espanol in English. We never use it. We use the translated form, which would be like this word Kepra, the translated form. The original form, it would be Espanol in Spanish. What we're telling you is that the original form of Kepra in Kemet, we don't have and we don't know. That's what we're saying to you, dummy.
Now, let me say this to you really quickly here. This is where we're struggling. You can't see my screen? I wonder why. Can you see it now?
You don't even want struggling, bro. Yo,
yeah, I see it. I see it.
Okay. It's freaking out on me. Hold on one second. There we go. I want to be clear that when young Pharoah sat down tonight and he said the Medu Neter has not been translated into a speakable language, if that was the position that he was going to maintain, we actually could have said good night. I would have said, it's good to meet you, brother. Good night. Because what he is correct about is that when we translate the Kemetic language,
deciphering a symbol is not speaking the language, which means the language has not been deciphered, brother. The symbols may have been deciphered, but the language has not been deciphered. And because there is no language, because you don't have a language, which means they made this shit up.
Language does not actually indicate all of its vowel sounds. Some of them, yes, not all of them. So sometimes we, as people who are trying to vocalize an ancient language, insert vowel sounds in order to speak it. So there are issues with trying to speak the language. By the way, this is not just the Medu Neter. The Hebrew language had a very similar problem.
No, it didn't.
People have reconstructed.
No, it didn't. No, it did not. People never had to reconstruct the Hebrew language. The Hebrew language has always been intact. Beni Halal, all he did was made popular the language of the Tanakh, and he modernized it. But he really didn't need to modernize it. In modernizing it, all you're doing is adopting loan words from things that didn't exist from the past, like television, newspaper, VCR, car. Jesus didn't have these things. Moses didn't have these things. So there was no word for that. This is the modernization of the language. The language of the Hebrew is a modernization of the ancient Hebrew of the Tanakh. The Hebrew of the Tanakh has the mikadotes already in there. They always been in there. And if you understood the alphabets and the mikadotes, you could have always spoke the Hebrew language 300-400 fucking years ago, before modern Hebrew was ever even heard of. So Jabari is lying, man. It never needed to be reconstructed.
It and speak it every day, including in the city that I'm in. Well, when he said, and he has said this many times, if you're not familiar, that the Medu Neter has not been deciphered, that is the hill that he should not want to die on. Here's his flyer from December 18, 2016. He and Pharoah Sutin said he's saying the Medu Neter has not been deciphered. I'm certainly not putting these words in his mouth. I didn't make the flyer. But I want to be clear. The word decipher means to uncode something. So look at this, to make out the meaning of, to discover the meaning of, to interpret by the use of a key as something written in cipher. This is what the word decipher means. So the metanetter has certainly been deciphered. We can read it. The challenge is with speaking it. That's where the challenge.
The question is, demonstrate to me the system in which Jean Napoleon used to decipher the symbols. I'd like to see you demonstrate that right now.
Challenges. So that if he had maintained, if he kept the same argument as when he first sat down, we'd be fine. We'd be fine.
It would be hard for Jabari to demonstrate that because he don't speak Medunetter. See, he's talking too hard. Like he's what you call an ultra-crepidarian, a person who speaks outside of the level of his expertise, as if though he was an expert.
The problem is the terms he's using. And I want you to be clear. If he says that's a Kepra, if he says he's the general of the Aten-Ra nation, of the Aten nation, how does he know that it's called Aten? How does he know that that the name of the deity is Aten? For those of you who know our dear brother, he is enamored with the word Aten. Here's his Aten Holistic Center. How does he know that that should be vocalized as Aten? It is not an English.
Well, he did. He learned. That's all young Pharaoh knows is English, and he read it from the English language, reading English books. Okay, he didn't get this shit from from Kemet. He got it from the white man, and he keep telling you this.
He is trying to speak a language that has been deciphered. That is what he's doing.
No, he's not. He's just reading.
And I want you to hear that the challenge with the Medunetter trying to be spoken is a challenge that actually the Hebrew language had as well. I don't know if you knew that, family.
And you
should know. Here's an article from the Baltimore Sun. Once dead language brings Israel to life. Hebrew. After 1,700 years, a revived language becomes a common thread, knitting together a nation of immigrants with little common except.
Now, you said that is very much like Kemet. That has not happened in Kemet. They have not woven together they have not brought back the Egyptian language after 2,000-3,000 years. They have not done that. And you saying that they have done this pretty much like the Hebrew. There's not people walking around Egypt speaking Maghrabi Arabic, bro. Egyptian Arabic. Ain't nobody walking around Kemet speaking no kind of they're speaking more English than they is Kemet. Ain't nobody speaking Kemet in there. So they have not done this, what you saying that they have done to the Hebrew language. Jabari, that is a bold-faced lie. What you're trying to do is use the Hebrew language as an epitome, right? As a tool. You know, what you're trying to do is do what Benny Halal did with Hebrew. You're trying to do that to Kemet. And you can't do that because you don't have an alphabet, dog. Your shit is symbols.
I want you to understand that the Hebrew language had a similar problem that the Kemetic language
No, it did not.
That didn't stop people in Israel from trying to vocalize their ancient language.
So if it's the same, if they went through the same process, why, if it haven't stopped people in Israel, why has it stopped people in Kemet? Why have the people in Kemet didn't even start speaking it yet? Because you a liar.
Ain't the like to
You're going out. You went out.
You're not hearing me?
Yeah, I hear you now, but you went out for a second.
I don't know.
When you're talking about the Hebrew language.
Yeah. So what I want you to understand, what happened is they had to actually add vowel sounds. That's what they had to do. And because they were able to.
That's another thing. They did not have to add vowel sounds to the Hebrew language, Jabari. The Mezorites had already done that. Benny Halal has not done that, dude. You don't know what you're talking about.
To at least say, well, let's try to add vowel sounds. Now they're speaking that language, even though that language was a dead language. So that is what people who are attempting to speak the Kemetic language are doing. Now, I'm going to say to you, I understand that there's a challenge with speaking it. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about deciphering. Deciphering is to make out words. To translate, we can translate the Kemetic language.
No, you cannot.
So,
no, you cannot. Again, when he say that you can translate the Semitic language, my challenge to you is say, I am hungry. Say, I'm hungry, give me something to eat. Translate that into the Kemetic language and show me the symbols for it. Translate it. First show me the symbols and then show me how these symbols mean I'm hungry. You can't do it because you're a liar.
That's the deal. By the way, Boss Nation, a few people in the chat, Boss Nation said, who told you it was a beetle, Jabari? All made up. Well, you should understand that the glyphs tell
Somebody out there thinking, who told you that? Did the Egyptians tell you that? Did the Comedians tell you that? Or did your enemies tell you that? Did the Comedians even tell your enemies this? Fuck out of here.
me that the exact same insect that is being depicted in the glyphs is an insect that still lives. We know exactly which beetle they're referring to. We call it a beetle. They didn't use the word beetle.
Right.
They used the word kefir.
Right. They didn't use the word beetle, and we're not sure that they used the word kefir either.
That's where that term comes from. And in fact, if you are going to say that you are the general of the Aten Ra nation, that means that you also believe that you can speak the word.
What the fuck is the Aten Ra nation, man?
Brother, I think that you think that if you start using profanity, you're going to knock me off my square. It don't work that way.
That's not the name of my shit, man.
I want you to know, don't make me pull up a video with you calling it Aten Ra.
PayPal works with the tools you already use,
Get out of here,
like
BigCommerce.
Ra Nation. Aten Nation.
Ain't no right. You
Aten Nation is what you call it. That's what
yeah, thank you, sir.
Now, but you know why you don't say Aten Ra Nation? Because you can't read the language. It should be the Aten Ra Nation, but you can't read it.
Talking about I do not care.
Show me the symbols. Show me the symbols for Aten.
My point is this:
show me the symbols for Aten. If it's the name you use, why don't you elevate conversation and show us or do you want me to show you the symbols for Aten? Because I can.
No matter what you say, right? Even earlier, you said something about Espanol, like Latin, even English language, even the English language has Latin etymological origins in it. It's why the Latin Vulgate was out before.
Basically, he's talking about the Anglicizing of the English language. What I was telling y'all earlier. This boy is he's better than I thought he was.
You know, biblical text before it was even translated into English. And Spanish comes from Italy. A Spaniard originally is just a Caucasian man who spoke Latin before it was translated into English. So I said to say this, just like you're saying this language has been translated, either way it go, the words you're using today, some way, somehow, are connected to a Caucasian man. And if you're saying that the Metanetra has been deciphered, according to John Champollion and other Europeans that have deciphered this language or claim to have deciphered this language, they say it was done through demotic text. Okay, so that means you would have to you would have to accept the involvement of the English language, the Aryan language, the Nordic language, the Germanic language, the Greco language, and the Roman language, which means some way, somehow, there would be a colonial infiltration of thought.
And you ain't got none of that.
Into the history of our ancestors. If you accept them saying, that they successfully translated these texts. What I'm saying is, I believe, and I have scientific proof, scientific proof, that a lot of these stories have just been created at later times and then backdated. And a lot of this stuff is not true, you know, and we only have understanding about some things that we cannot prove as best as possible through, we still have to acknowledge that it is not being proven through our native tongue. But I mean, I don't know what's hard to understand about that. If you accept John Champollion or any of the Caucasians alleged successes of deciphering the language, and you have to also accept the path to which he say he deciphered it. And that's even that in itself is questionable and is not true.
Okay. Now, I know that you haven't spent a lot of time with Sonnetter on this platform recently, but when people make claims in this environment, you're going to hear me say ECRI. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. You said that they said, John Champollion said,
all you got to do is show us how these Europeans deciphered it without no type of anything from the people who created the language.
It using the demotic text. I'm going to say something that we always say here: source up. Show me where Champollion or his son said that they translated this using the demonic text. Show me where that is.
Okay.
Like the video, thumb up the video.
Oh, she'll be back on. So this is where I would tell you, just like I told Sonnetter, I'm not pulling out no PowerPoint. Until the day of, and
right, and he shouldn't have to. He shouldn't have to come with PowerPoints and have to prove nothing, Johnny, on the spot. I mean, Jabari didn't prove anything. Did you see Jabari prove anything today, Tori? Tori might have dropped off.
No, Jabari didn't prove anything.
Yeah.
Say you didn't see him prove anything, did you?
No.
You have a PowerPoint slide with over 100 slides. Like I said, Polite couldn't get through me.
Right.
So you're not going to be able to get through me. But what I want to say is, I just want to I want to put this out there.
I don't know why you continue to make Polite. The reality is you're speaking with Jabari.
You're not, because listen to me, because you're not nobody.
I'm not nobody.
You don't need, and I don't even, me and him don't even like each other.
Speak English, and that's why you're struggling with the method. Right.
You're not nobody. You believe that.
Right.
Nobody else, I never know that.
That's right. Right.
Can I?
Hey, what he is, he said now he's trying to call him a dauphin and all of that because he's mad that he's mad. Really, he's laughing to hide that he's mad that young Pharoah compared him to Jabari, not Jabari. You can compare Jabari to Polite. And what Pharoah is trying to do is engage him to say that you're better than Polite, because he knows that Sonnetter is not going to hold Jabari's hand in a debate against Polite. And Jabari and Polite has Sonnetter has said in his heart, Polite is the best debater on the HOK. You see, and he's mad because he don't want to have to call out Polite. You see?
Yeah, you're not better.
It's good.
You're not better.
It ain't never been nobody in the history. It ain't never been nobody in the history of this platform that's ever been measured. That's ever.
I just want you,
brother. Ain't nobody in the history. I'll bust Polite ass, bro, and yours, and Jabari's, and Sonnetter's.
No, we're gonna put a pin. Wait, we're gonna put a pin in this.
Never been nobody in the history.
I asked young Pharoah to show me where he could find Capra in an English dictionary. I showed you that it's not there.
You are asking me. You are asking me. You are asking me to put.
What he should have did was went to Wallace Budge, because Wallace Budge is an English dictionary of the of Kemetic. So he should have went to a Hebrew lexicon in the English language and busted ass. That's all you got to do.
Like
what that would do is prove that that's an English word, but it will not prove that that shit was passed down from the ancient Cometians. It would be proved that that shit came down to this white man. That's what it would prove to the English language.
I'm not pulling
also,
up.
I also asked him to source up, as he says, that they translated the Medunetter using demotic text. So I want you to put a pin in that. He says he's not going to show us today. Put a pin in that.
Yes, I will put a pin in that.
So, no, not for you. I'm saying for the audience, so they know that you're doing this. The other thing that he's doing that I think is that he continues to say that Caucasians, the same people from Eurasia that extinguished the language, some of their kind then went back and were able to.
If they're able to use a variety of sources, and you holding this brother, well, what we say over here is source up, and you got outside sources, well, just give one, Jabari. You haven't proven shit. This is the only piece of information that you've given out the whole fucking thing. 46 minutes and 46 damn near and a half minutes into the fucking show. The only piece of information that you've given. You lost, buddy.
Able to decipher it. They didn't write the text. Do
you not?
So what I'm saying to you is that when we talk about topics, I understand that you're talking to someone who travels to Kemet every year. You telling me kings and queens and see those lists were made up. And you go to the temple that is generally known as Karnak, Ipet Isut, and the temple that's known as the Temple of Luxor, Ipet Risiet. All of that is made up. You're talking about material culture that could not be made up. There's that much stuff there. So when he says that it's all been made up, once again, I'm going to say
if the story wasn't made up, then they would match the physical age of the structures that they allegedly came off.
In this place, when
if
you make
if the stories is true, then why are the structures older than the
have to source up? And so I want
if the stories are true, Jabari, then why are the structures of Egypt older than the stories?
What did you say?
What did you say? The stories are true. If the Medunetter was successfully deciphered and the stories are true, then why are the structures that the stories are being applied to older than the actual story?
You'll find the stories in the structures.
Yeah, you're supposed to, but
no, you can.
But the issue is the structures are older than the stories.
Brother, how could you make that claim?
Because over 250 geologists have pumped millions of gallons of water based on the west side to 4 inches of rain a year in Egypt. So even based upon the calculation of the water damage on these structures alone, the water damage puts these temples at nothing less to 40 to 100,000 years being a story of who allegedly even built them. So my thing is, if the Medunetter or whatever you saying has successfully been deciphered, then why are the stories that are being related to the structures unequivocal in age of the actual structures?
Two things. When you're talking about questions around, you're on the Mer or the Merkut, You're not talking about the weathering on the pyramid. You're talking about the weathering on that beast, the Pharoah market.
No, I'm not. Don't tell me what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the pyramids.
Wait, I'll let you finish, brother. I'll let you finish. You're not going to do that. You are not going to do that when I sat here and listened to you.
You gotta let him finish, bro. Pharaoh, you gotta let him finish.
He's telling me what I'm talking about.
And I listened to you speak.
Tell him
now it's your turn to listen.
Answering what I say. He said I'm talking about
he's referring to weathering on the side of the Sphinx.
Let him finish, Pharaoh. You don't be.
What was streamed?
We got
to say, also going
I said 250 geologists.
He
250 geologists testified that millions of gallons of water was
we're not going to do it this way. We're not going to do it this way.
Young Pharaoh, you gotta let him finish, bro. You gotta let him finish.
Listen to what I said.
We're not going to do it.
Don't make up something to answer to.
You're not going to just ignore what I'm saying and keep and continue to speak. But if he thinks that he knows something about weathering, then him to do and he cannot something that anyone that is making these claims can do. Sonetta, please show this. Here's your picture in front of the places that you're telling me have weathering. Have you been there? Or are you talking about something that you have never he hasn't even last year. Look at my beard. And so what I want you to understand very clearly is that we're in a situation where we're having a brother that's trying to grapple with some issues. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you invalidate people who have done really, really powerful research on this, simply because you don't think that they say anything, and you've not done research on these topics yourself, now what?
But you haven't done ground research. Archaeologists and anthropologists do ground research, man. You go over there for like a fucking vacation, bro. You go over there like a tourist shit, bro. You cannot compare to the great Kemetic scholar. You can't even compare to Anthony Broader, bro. Not even Asar Imhotep. Dude, stop it. Tahuti bust your ass. The dude, a pseudo ass so Tahuti done bust your ass. So we got it on record, Jabari. Stop it.
What we're doing is we're exploring what we could call flights of fancy. The reality is he would need to show me that any of these Merkut, he said, are 40,000 years old. In the Sonetta TV Black News 102 environment, we say source up. So this is a problem.
Let me put something up.
If you had just stayed to your first few sentences, we would be fitting that you're in right now. All the stuff that you are saying is ridiculous. And notice that he also didn't tell us he uses Aten for everything. I would like for him to tell us how he knows that that deity is called Aten if the language has not been deciphered. He's not going to answer this.
Hey, yo,
why? Because he can't answer it.
All right, I don't see nothing yet.
Hold up.
All right, shout out to Tahuti. We got Tahuti in the building as well.
I share my screen. Okay, so now this is just one of many. You know what I'm saying? Images that I have, but like I just want to say this nigga don't know what the fuck you talking about. You need to really shut the fuck up.
So show me.
Yo, no cursing, Pharaoh. Remember, I said that earlier.
I'm showing you so.
Come on, he's showing you respect. He's showing you respect.
What does it say? Show me how that slide says what you say.
Just be quiet, please. Damn, shut the fuck up. This is the lower chamber of the Red Pyramid. So this is one of the points of argument that I want to just. Before I jump into it, these are erosions in the sides of the Sphinx.
Oh, so you're saying what I said?
No, I'm not. I'm going through images. Fuck.
Talking because he didn't say that. When he asked him to source up, now he showed the water erosion marks. Tori, did you hear Jabari mention anything about the water erosion marks?
No.
He did, because he didn't. Now he gonna lie. Just tell that big ass lie and say, you saying what I said. Actually, Jabari, the only thing you said about the water erosion marks is when the brother was talking about the weatherization and you tried to ridicule him on it. And now he got the fucking receipts and now you're trying to concede. Anytime you niggas concede, you done conceded like 5 times, dude. You lost this conversation, man. And this guy weak as hell, bro. You lost to a pseudo.
Fucking while I'm talking.
Let him go, Jabari. Let him go, Jabari.
You did it the whole time.
So with that being said, this is weathering on the west side of the Great Pyramid. This is 3 different forms of water damage on 3 different structures. I'm not just talking about one. Now it's 3. The water damage, damage here is so severe that it was confirmed by over 250 geologists applicable to who they say built them. Period. Here's water higher depth. So the point I'm trying to make, I can go in this, but I'm not going to sharp on. But my point is, history, or excuse me, not to date the pyramids, but date pretty much all structures throughout Egypt. You'll see that there was a body of water there before the Nile River was there, called the Nile River, and this is why the Nile River is 8 miles off of it. But you'll see that there was enough there was water there to sustain. You'll see that the entire landscape of Egypt was different than we're taught, and now you'll see that they are at minimum 40 years old. This puts them above and beyond the scope of what of the stories that they're attributing to a lot of these structures, who they're saying built for physical existence, that it was before even the date they said they did it. How could the Hebrews have built the Temple of Ramesses? The Temple of Ramesses was here before.
The only way that could be so is if the geologists, their procedures and their testing methods, their methodology was flawed, which means that I don't believe that. I would believe that Jabari is a liar before I would believe the geologist is a liar.
They were allegedly enslaved. All of these structures are older than a good majority of the stories given to us by Egyptologists. This is a fact. This is a fact. This is a fact. That's how you're able to get around.
So what is happening here is how guys like Chris Harris and You know, who else? Some of those Kemetic guys, how they try to use archaeology to prove the Bible wrong. Well, they're getting a dose of their own medicine right here, where young Pharaoh is using geology to prove the Egyptologists wrong.
That's an undeniable fact. That's an undeniable fact.
Are you finished? You're saying the same thing over and over again. Are you finished?
Do you understand that though?
I'd like to respond to what you just said.
Yeah, brother. Jabari.
No one says that Khufu built. By the way,
but that's a non sequitur to what he's trying to. What he's trying to say is that okay, his father's what, one generation older. The brother is trying to say that the water erosion mark go back hundreds, thousands of years over the Pharoah dynasty or his daddy. Period. And it proves the story fake. That's what he said.
Wait a minute, brother.
Hold up, Pharaoh. You gotta let him finish.
Clear about this. We need to be very clear about this. Young Pharaoh.
If the geologist is right, those structures was built long time ago, and throughout time they started putting all of the hieroglyphics and all that other shit on there. That's what young Pharaoh saying.
Pharaoh is his dad. He better in my class than to be arguing with me tonight. The reality is that no one argues that the Red Pyramid was built by Khufu. The Red Pyramid was built by his father. His father built 2 or 3 Merkutu, Seneferu.
Listen,
so I just want you to know.
Hold on, young Pharaoh. You gotta let them finish, brother.
For him to hear very clearly that I asked him to source up. He showed me a picture with his typing on the bottom of it. Does he think that's a source? Does he think that's a source?
I cited my.
He should think that's a source because you were thinking those were sources until I bust your ass, right? Until I made videos, until I taught my brothers in the Lion's Den what y'all guys do, because you got that from young Pharaoh now. Y'all will come and make up your own stuff. You can go back on, y'all did it against me. Y'all make up your own sources and then put your own writings in it and claim that that's a source. You've done it on every debate you've ever been in. But now it's wrong when young Pharaoh do it. Woo, Jabari is foul. If it's wrong, then that means Jabari has been wrong in every fucking debate that he's ever been in.
Let's be very clear.
Mailer at 250 geologists.
If you are going to Mailer,
young Pharaoh, come on, brother. You gotta let him finish, brother. He's giving you that respect. He's giving you that respect, man. Let the brother finish.
If you're going to prove something, you have to know how to actually pull a source. And unfortunately, our brother is not pulling sources. He's either, and with his own thing on it, and now he just do something.
You ain't pulling up. You do a fucking picture.
He thinks.
The man was talking about watermarks and erosions. You just threw up a picture of you in front of the fucking pyramid. You should have. You wasn't over there where the erosion marks was at, dealing with the subject of the erosion. You didn't show no water. You just doing shit, Jabari. And then you fraud, dude. For everything that you say this man is wrong, you like 12 times. I mean, Tori was right. You worse, bro.
It's such a ridiculous comment, but we can do this on the fly because it is ridiculous. I thought it was just an even. You know, you right, Tori. This nigga's fucking way worse than he worse. To JSTOR, right? And you'll see that I have a scholarly package on JSTOR because I'm a scholar. And so as you look here, you're going to see this article is the length of Seneferu's reign and how how long it took to build the Red Pyramid. Khufu did not build the Red Pyramid. So this brother is out of his depth.
But that wasn't even his
This
point,
is a
though.
problem here. He showed you some and said, this proves.
You know what that's called, what Jabari just did? That's called the Texas sharpshooter logical fallacy, right? And I'm gonna tell you why they call it the Texas sharpshooter. For it is like, okay, what a Texas sharpshooter is like. It's like a guy taking a gun, right, a shotgun, right, and he's finna hit bullseye on the target practice. So what he does is take the like, say he goes on a barn, right? He gonna use the barn to go target practice. He take the gun, shoot the gun, boom, right? Hit the wall, bust a hole in the wall, and then right there where the hole is, he'll draw a bullseye around it, and then he'll draw the target around that to make it though he hit the target. And this is what Jabari is doing. You know, the Texas sharpshooter logical fallacy, to make it though what he's saying is right. And it's not. And it's a straw man argument. Jabari fallacious as hell. The boy sucks, man. To me.
But let's be clear. There are several temples that have groundwater. That doesn't mean that's groundwater. It's not from rains. And as I said to you,
but he ain't talking about the ground. He's talking about the erosion. He clearly said that the water was higher up, and you can see the erosion marks as high as it was at. Didn't he say that? So the water don't have to be there. The guy's silly, bro.
Only part.
We've helped millions of
The witness
platform.
ready to leave. That the album
is in a lively debate. The way many scholars, I have to believe the debate isn't really over. Many argue that there's weapon on the side of market. Might argue to sources and realize that's the correct story.
What young Pharoah is saying is not only what you're saying, so he's saying that for all of the structures around there.
See, he's been teaching this for almost as long as you have been alive. So have to understand our say you want to disrespect my views.
We have to be done.
The reality is that if you want to be able to articulate yourself, you need to show us a proper source. He has not shown us anything.
Can I go, please?
The only thing that young Pharoah showed us, I'm not going to even go there. I'm not going to even go there.
Oh, okay. So
I want young Pharoah to stick.
Okay, let me say. Ever actually little hiring, and this is why bent period.
Now look at Tahuti, his eyes big like what? Now, mind you that when Tahuti debated Jabari, Jabari said the same thing that young Pharoah saying that those were not real people. Jabari was saying that they were principles. Tahuti eyes is getting big because in the debate that Tahuti had against Jabari, Tahuti was saying all of those things and entities were real people. Tahuti got that idea from me when I told him that that angels, demons, devils, and things like that were actual real people. So he tried to take that ideology and apply it to Kemet. You know, you see how fraud these niggas is, right? Now, the irony here is that we haven't documented that. You see Tahuti's eyes getting big because, you know, Pharaoh just said that the people was fake. Jabari pretty much said that they were not real people, right? Now, in this video, if I'm not mistaken, Jabari is going to say that they were real people, which means now that he would have to agree to a defeat to Tahuti, which is something that he said Tahuti didn't do. You see? Flim flamming. Watch this.
Now I said to say this. The story of the building of those pyramids does say that not just Neferu, but Khufu, because they say he built one and his son built one. What I'm saying is not only don't those structures once again outdate the stories, those people never even existed. Those people know the purpose of and straight out of the book, The Land of Osiris by Stephen Mailer. I told you not only did I cite Stephen Mailer, I said 200 ground wise of the pyramids told you erosion in the grid, which would be under the found river. I said that is now we lost a specific level of hydration. You know, so what you but what I'm saying is this: the symbols are irrelevant to be arguing about because they're not real. They're not real. Sneferu and Khufu are names that denote frequencies. They're not even the actual people. Actually, the structure are even older than the damn story. What are you about? I could have structure in that time period. The structure and this is because it used to generate electricity and it was used to emit a certain frequency. So everybody the story is allegorical. What are you talking about? Just like the Bible, just like in the Bible, they say the characters are allegorical. That story is in Egypt, is being told, is telling the history of Egypt through Egyptology, but it's allegorical. That's not true either. The names are denoting the points of the pyramids, and the structures were actually here way, way longer than that. The story is younger than the structure that is being attributed to interact with. Those structures are older than Khufu, or those structures are older than Khufu, or any of them could have been. This is what I'm saying. What they say, they built it between 3200 to 2200 BC. So that's what 3 to 6,000 years ago, 1,000 years old. So nobody could have never built it back then because they was already there. So what I'm telling you is the people in the stories of Egyptology are allegorical as well, just like in the Bible. A lot of this stuff has to be taken literally. It's meant to be the purpose of the structure. And this is understood by technology, technocracies. This is why.
You know what? The crazy part about this is that Sarnetta, like how Sarnetta was agreeing with young Pharaoh, Sarnetta always says this. He says that those people ain't real to him. He don't believe in those people. Jabari even say those people are mythological. For some crazy reason, Jabari, because Tahuti is there, is trying to act like these people are real people. When we have hundreds of videos of Jabari, every time Jabari you talk about mythology and the Bible's a myth, he says that ancient Kemet is mythological as well. But now he's, for some crazy reason, on having contention with the same thing, because it's coming out of young Pharaoh. This shit is ridiculous, man.
Shipping is based upon the structures of the pyramid.
What it is young Pharaoh let them know how ridiculously they sounded, and they don't like it because he's reflecting and mimicking them.
Because it's meant to tell you how it's supposed to work without you really understanding it if you can't see behind the veil. But long story short, it's all terrorism. You doing the same thing that you would try to argue with a Christian about doing. You taking the story literal because you have a misunderstanding of what it really means. And you don't understand that. And you don't make science. Like I said, over not one. Imagine going to court, one person testify on you and how much pressure you will be under versus if 250 people say they saw you do it. So I think I understand. And let me not just let's say even Stephen Mailer and the over 250 professional, not government employed geologists confirm that these structures have internal damage underneath the foundation that is so great that these structures could not be any less to 40,000 to 100,000 years old. So I say that to say they're even older than the stories. So that right there proves the story, so the story can't be true. But then also I'm telling you, you have a misunderstanding of the story. The same way a lot of Christians got.
What these guys, what everybody is mad about and what they want young Pharaoh out the way is, and just like he just told y'all, what y'all do to the Christians, basically, I'm doing this to y'all. You know what I'm saying? And it can be done to y'all, and it should be done to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because you guys are no different than the pot calling the kettle black. And this is why they want to get rid of young Pharaoh, because young Pharaoh is proving everything that these guys are standing on is just fake and phony. You know what I'm saying? And they got to get him out of the way. They have to get him out of the way because he proving these niggas frauds, man.
Got a misunderstanding of the story. It's allegorical. And the word Sneferu just means double harmony. I can tell you the exact frequency that it meant. Like I said, this is scant right out of the book. This ain't I ain't making it up. This is scanned right out of the books. I got the #1 library in the world out of any black man. This is scanned right out of the book. You telling me you ain't? I'm saying it just is what it is. It just says what it is. And the upper walls of the Red Pyramid was used for acoustic resonance. It was used to vibrate. That's the truth. That water used to flow through what's called the aqueduct. So you this is why I'm the one about to go down. Shout out from the hey, this is why I'm you. I was #1. It's like
come on.
All right, young Pharaoh. You gotta let him go. You gotta let him go and don't cut him off. He speak for 5 minutes without cutting you off.
I don't want this to turn into no debate. That's all I want to say. I'm gonna leave that right there, dude.
Right.
Now,
you got anything else you want to add?
Let him go, young Pharaoh. Let him go.
Let me say several things. I don't know if he realizes that he's defeating himself. He tells you the meta-netter has not been translated. Then he tells you the meaning, which is incorrect, by the way, of the name Seneferu. So if it hasn't been translated, how can you tell us the meaning? It does not mean he is balanced. Nefer means beautiful or perfect. Sen is like brother. So it's almost like this brother has affected things. That's his name. That's his name. So he's telling you we can't translate the language. Then he gives you a whole word salad for 7 minutes. But then he tells you what the word means, but it hasn't been translated.
Now that's a good. Now he got to get.
Boy, I'm telling you, Sonette, I'm gonna get you for this.
Hey.
I'm gonna get you for this.
Well, yeah.
So, and I want you to be clear. He is still not this.
Well, what young Pharaoh could do is all go back to, and he don't really have to, because he done said it like 3 or 4 or 5 times that I got it from the English language. And that's what he got it. He say, this is my understanding based upon the English language, but ain't no comedian taught me that. That's all he have to say. That's called standing on your guns. You know what I'm saying? It's about to be over with.
Sources. He said to you that Stephen Mailer is a geologist. Stephen Mailer is not a geologist. This is Stephen Mailer. Here you go. Sonetta, can you please show? This is Stephen Mailer. He's a European dude that says that he knows the knowledge of Canada. He's independent archaeologist, geologist, he calls himself.
With Splashtop, you can remotely access your computers and files from wherever you are. Use the Splash.
That's what he is. None of them say that he's a geologist, as he just told you he is. Why am I refuting him with his own words? Why is this happening? By the way, he wanted to tell you, you want to believe the Caucasians. Then he says, you need to listen to Stephen Mailer. Is he a walking contradiction? Is this man in descent? Who is this person? He's a Rosicrucian. I'm the comedic. I'm the next with allegory. He says I don't deal with allegory and I don't respect. You can't see those together unless you have these things are because they're water. And I told groundwater. I'm a.
You know what? That's called the what he is doing now is called the logical fallacy of repetition, where you just keep repeating the same lie, and it's also a forced what they call that when you force somebody in a position where they did not. You keep it's like I forget the logical fallacy, but this guy's highly fallacious, man. You know what I'm saying? He doing he think that if he keep repeating that about this shit on the groundwater, which is irrelevant. It's irrelevant when the brother talking about geologists and how he talking about erosions all the way up the damn pyramid. That is his proof, not the fucking water on the ground. The erosion marks, bro, that is 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 feet off the fucking ground. That is his evidence. Jabari's horrible, man. And anybody who can't see through this is fucking stupid, bro. I mean, I'm talking about sadly stupid.
Groundwater comes up lots of times. I mean, there's groundwater coming up in Miami right now. That doesn't tell us a year. What you're confusing.
The erosion on the damn wall, dude, though. Dummy. And that's what he was talking about. The weatherization. It's sad, man. You this nigga trash, man.
And you've conflated a bunch of arguments that I could better argue. I could make your argument better than you. I got stuff to do. This is a waste of time. This is a waste of time. The question is around the Pharoah market. Because there is weathering on the side.
There's also a logical fallacy that because you say something out of anger or frustration or even loud, that it's that's supposed to make it so. None of those things make what you say real, man. You know what I'm saying? It's fallacious. It's just straight fallacious.
People argue is by rain, groundwater. So because they say that, they say, well, when was the last time there were great rains in Kemet? Probably 15,000 years ago. So the people who argue that must be 15,000 about a place he's never been to. Speaking of people that don't know, what is happening? This is ridiculous. And he still has not shown us a source. I'm showing you his sources. He don't know what the word decipher means.
Did you just hear that, Tori? This guy said he ain't had no. You're arguing his sources, right? But he ain't got no sources. If that's not a fucking oxymoron.
He says Stephen Miller is a geologist. He is not. He says you should listen to Europeans. Then he tells me that I have to listen to Stephen Miller. What is happening here? This doesn't make sense.
If you ready? Hold on, fam. Want to make one more?
He his natural build 3 miracles.
He is correct. If he's correct, he's correct. He's correct, but he's confusing what he's talking about. No, if he's correct, bro. And you're confusing what he's talking about.
Cool. Right? One at Doom, one at Down. Father or
But none of that was his argument. He just looking at this guy like, man, what the fuck is this guy talking about? He talked about Kheperu, right? He basically said that they don't call the pyramid. They call it the pyramid of Kheperu. They don't call it the pyramid of Kheperu's daddy. They call it the pyramid of Kheperu. And he is basically saying that the erosion marks are older than the story of Kheperu, and it's older than Kheperu's daddy. That's what he said. He just keep harping on this, to distract the people. This is nothing more than a red herring distraction. You know what I'm saying? Distraction away from a young Pharaoh's original point. The dude is sorry, bro.
Hey yo, I'm going. Y'all are some fucking niggas.
That's what he's conflating. Khufu was not the builder of the red miracle. That is
well. That's the end of that. You see, young Pharaoh said he out SSD, because he don't have no respect for these guys, Yeah, but that's my take on the discussion. It was very, 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 very condescending. You know what I'm saying, on the half of Jabari. Jabari struck again. And to me, it's none other than a ploy to get rid of Walter Williams, Sarasut and Seti, and young Pharaoh, to get rid of them because they are saying that all of this stuff that y'all saying about Kemet is a lie and it's fake and it's phony. And this is the reason why y'all want to get rid of these guys, and also those guys have stood as YouTube legends, and y'all want to take their shine. Y'all jealous and y'all want to be where they want to be. This is why Jabari is doing what he want to do. Big ups to Sarnetta himself. I'm proud of the man. This was a very classic show. I like it. You know what I'm saying? I like it a lot. I love the show today. This was a very, very, very good show. Young Pharaoh won hands down. You know, and to those hit that like that's watching, hit that like, hit that share. Please, please hit that subscription button because I'm on a subscription drive. You know, yeah, but Young Pharaoh was the one that was dishing out all of the information. You know what I'm saying? And 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 that was just the crux of it. Jabari did no rebuttaling. You know, he just spoke down on Young Pharaoh. You know, a lot of ad hominem attacks. You know, anytime you speaking down on a person and not the subject, you know what I'm saying? You're attacking the person and not the subject at hand. You know what I'm saying? That's an ad hominem attack. I mean, Jabari's argument is just 100% logically fallacious from a guy who brags that he got a degree from Cornell. I mean, I should actually call. I should call Cornell tomorrow and ask, did a Jabari Osaze graduate from a Cornell University? Because you got to start checking after these guys who using these fake degrees to gain leverage over simple, common, everyday people. You know, because it's sad. You know that over there on the HOK, they got to get and Dagger Squad. These people got to go get real archaeologists, real anthropologists, real geneticists, real historians to try to debunk what we say, and they fail miserably every goddamn time. You still there? You still there, Tori? You done fell off? Yeah, Tori must have done fell off. Yeah, so back at the ranch, I didn't want to speak over him, you know, but I'm getting ready to close on out. You know, I just wanted to throw the show out, you know. And it was a good show last night. You know, after this, you know, immediately after this in the show goes on for a couple more hours, you know. This was actually just the first hour. The show probably went on about 3 or 4 more hours. So we only just got a small segment of the show. We just got the actual discussion. There was a lot of stuff that went on afterwards. And everybody on the show, everybody, not one person was all voting against Young Pharaoh. And that shows you the nepotism, the favoritism, you know, and all of that type of stuff, you know, that's going on in the conscious community, because it's not just the HOK, it's the Israelites. You know what I'm saying? You know, the Israelites who supposed to be the gatekeepers of the truth, right? Who's supposed to be the safeguarders of truth, you know, was siding actually with the fallacy, non-logical one, you know. And it's a lot of hatred in Jabari, jealousy. You know, he don't want to see nobody rise above him. You know what I'm saying? And when the truth of the matter is that probably out of everybody on the panel, Jabari's YouTube page is probably the lowest ranked. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about like I believe my page is better is passing Jabari's page. Last time I checked, I think I was passing them in numbers, subscriptions, and everything. But that being stated, I'm going to get on out of here, go on and end this show. I want to get on with my evening, and I got a couple other things that I'd just like to get off into. But that being that, hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe. Yasha Ben Israel, Tori Bolton, and we out of here.